Welcome to Fast Lane Friday, the series where we take a more in-depth look at automotive icons and find out what makes them so beloved. Today, beloved by many for its affordable dominance, the Chevy Corvette was not always setting records on the Nürburgring like it does today. Born over 70 years ago, when Chevy was struggling, the Corvette would take after the popular European touring cars of the time. The Corvette would be introduced to the public at the 1953 Motorama show in New York. A sleek two-seat convertible with an inline-six, the 1953 Corvette would only come in a white option with a red interior. Chevy would only sell a measly 183 Corvettes that year. In 1954, the Corvette would be offered in black, red, and blue along with the white and would see a slight power increase in the inline-six. In 1955, the Corvette would receive a V8 option and would quickly become the preferred choice for buyers. The C1 generation would end in 1963 and see the introduction of the C2 Corvettes. Offering a coupe option for the first time, the new C2 Corvettes would introduce the now iconic Stingray moniker, as well as the RPO Z06 option, enhancing the Corvette for track performance. Four-wheel disc brakes would also become available on the C2s in 1965. The C3 would begin production in 1968 and continue through 1982 and would feature removable T-tops for the first time. More iconic monikers such as LT1 and ZR1 would first appear as well. During the C3's run, the Corvette would have its 25th anniversary, celebrated with the Indy 500 Pace Car Limited Edition and a silver anniversary model. The C4 Corvette would take over from 1984 through 1996 and would see a completely redesigned body. The new generation C4 would carry over the same L83 Crossfire V8, but would now feature a single-piece removable roof section known as a target top, replacing the T-tops. In 1990, the C4 ZR1 would hit dealerships and would boast a 5.7-liter V8 that put out over 375 horsepower that could push the ZR1 from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. The C4 body style would be the transition point that would blend the previous third-generation C3s with the coming fifth-generation C5s. The C5 would see production from 1997 through 2004 and would again see a body redesign. The new C5 Corvette would feature the new LS1 engine, giving the C5 345 horsepower. With an increased wheelbase and a wider front and rear track, the C5 would be much more stable than its predecessor model. The C5 Z06 model would become available in 2001 with an LS6 engine derived from the LS1, producing 385 horsepower and having several upgrades such as a fixed roof and improved brakes. The Z06 truly lived up to its predecessor on the track. Later models of the C5 Z06 would feature an increase to 405 horsepower and reduced weight, increasing performance further. The C6 Corvette would take over from the C5 in 2005 and would run through 2013. An evolution of the C5 Corvette, the new C6 would be unveiled at the 2004 Detroit Auto Show. Powered by an updated 6-liter LS2 engine that put out over 400 horsepower, the new C6 Corvette could go from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. The new C6 Z06 would be introduced in 2006 and would be powered by an LS7 pumping out over 500 horsepower and thrusting the Z06 from 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds. Then, in 2008, the standard C6 received the new LS3 engine that produced over 430 horsepower. In addition to the new LS3, new 5-spoke wheels and an upgraded interior would be introduced in 2008. In 2009, the return of the ZR1 would feature the LS9 Eaton supercharged 6.2-liter V8 that put out over 638 horsepower. This new ZR1 would truly begin to challenge the European supercars of the time, really beginning to build the image of the budget American sports car that could trample European supercars. For many, the next generation C7 Corvette, produced from 2014 through 2019, would be the first Corvette aimed at a younger generation of drivers. With updated styling, building on the C6, new rectangular taillights ditched the classic 4-circle taillights seen on Corvettes for decades. Along with a carbon fiber hood, the new C7 Corvette would help redirect the image of the Corvette. A new LT1 6.2-liter V8 gave the C7 455 horses under the carbon fiber hood, along with the Stingray moniker making a return. In 2015, the C7 Z06 would be released, boasting an impressive 650 horsepower and reaching 60 from a standstill in just 3 seconds. 4 years later, the Corvette ZR1 would make its way to the top of the Corvette lineup. With 755 horsepower, this new Corvette would set an unofficial 7-minute and 4-second time around the Nürburgring. The new ZR1 would begin setting the stage for what was to follow. After nearly 70 years as a front-engine sports car, the C8 generation of Corvette would move to a mid-engine layout. Beginning production in 2020, the new C8 Corvette would feature a 6.2-liter LT2 engine, giving the standard Corvette nearly 500 horsepower. The affordable supercar was born. The new appearance and layout gave buyers the ability to own an exotic-looking sports car without having to take out a second mortgage on their home. In 2023, the C8 Z06 would return, this time propelled by a 5.5-liter V8 making 670 horsepower. And like the previous generation, the C8 ZR1 would soon follow the Z06. The ZR1 features the 5.5-liter LT7 that produces over 1,060 horsepower and pushes the C8 ZR1 from 0 to 60 in just 2.3 blistering seconds. The C8 ZR1 would also show its ability around a track, setting a 6-minute and 50-second lap time around the Nürburgring. With prices rising on the C8 models, it's hard to say it is still the budget choice. However, it is still cheaper than most of its European counterparts. Like it or not, the Corvette has truly become an American supercar in its current iteration. With the C8 continuing to push the boundaries of Chevy's engineers, one can only imagine where the C9 Corvette might take them.